Democrats at the state capitol want more state government control over what housing goes where. A bill would prevent the state's largest cities from limiting the construction of multifamily housing like duplexes and let more housing be built near transportation. Our Luis De Leon takes a closer look.
Overall, the proposed plan allows for more construction of housing across Colorado, but is limited depending on population and housing needs. The plan breaks down what's allowed into sections. Let's start with Tier 1. They're the state's largest cities like Denver, Aurora, and Boulder. Among other things, municipalities would have to allow the construction of multifamily housing near public transit. That's something that Conservation Colorado, an environment advocacy organization, is particularly in support of.
Transportation is the #1 source of greenhouse gas pollution. And so people driving, because they can't afford to live where they want to live, increases pollution and it increases congestion.
Tier 2 are places like Berthoud and Fort Lupton. They would be prohibited from restricting construction of what's called accessory dwelling units. Then there's rural resort job centers, which are basically ski towns like Silverthorne, Steamboat Springs, and others. That basically looks to tackle the issue of housing for those who work in the town but can't afford to live there. And non-urban municipalities are for real small towns like Alamosa, or towns that are not already in the first 3 categories. They're the only group not required to submit some sort of housing needs plan to the state.
Municipalities largely have the same goals as the proponents.
Kevin Baumer is executive director of the Colorado Municipal League. He opposes the bill and believes it takes too much power away from local governments.
We just don't start with preemption. We'd rather start with partnership. In the 9 months preceding the legislative session, we could have been talking how all of the municipalities and counties could have been working together with the state in partnership towards common goals.
Now, when we take a look at how this works elsewhere, the Urban Institute, for example, they recently looked at zoning reforms across the country in a study that they just recently published. They found a 0.8% increase in housing supply within those first 3 to 9 years of those reforms passing. Kyle, though, they note that, however, that the increase occurs predominantly for units at the, quote, higher end of rent prices.
Let's talk about the likelihood that this passes. As we've said so many times, Democrats have the votes to pass whatever they want at the state capitol as long as they don't end up divided on an issue. But this is clearly an issue that splits off some city Democrats.
And it really also depends then with how those other local governments may be vocal after seeing this plan. When it comes to the actual residents of Colorado, different statewide polls will tell you different things. Healthier Colorado showed that 80% of folks that they polled here statewide are in support of what's called those accessory dwelling units.
Luis De Leon, thank you.